Hi everyone, I'm Miss Katie from Rockland Public Library, and today we're going to be reading Snack, Snooze, Skedaddle. Now this is another nonfiction story that we're going to read today. That means it is full of true facts, and it's going to be real facts about animals. Snack, Snooze, Skedaddle, How Animals Get Ready for Winter. This book is written by Laura Purdie Salas and illustrated by Claudine Jevry. Let's see what happens in Snack, Snooze, Skedaddle. Soak up the sun, breathe in the breeze. Munch crunchy apples that fall from the trees. Enjoy every morsel you feast on today. The banquet of autumn will soon fade away. So plump up, or burrow, or journey before frosty winds rattle and batter your door. Snowstorms and dark nights are next to arrive. Here comes the winter. Prepare to survive. Let's see how animals prepare. Oh, who do we have here? Is it a hummingbird? Yeah. Dive into snapdragons. Snapdragons are flowers. Dive into snapdragons. Double your size. Dine on delectable tropical flies. This ruby-throated hummingbird puts on weight to power his long, non-stop flight south. So he eats and eats and eats so he gets nice and big and doubles his size before migrating. Float like a kite on a sweet nectar breeze. Cluster on branches of tall family trees. This monarch butterfly flies south in the fall to mate and lay eggs in the spring. So just like the hummingbird, the butterfly migrates. I think monarch butterflies are really cool. When they migrate, they go straight south. It's just one generation. But on their way back next year, it'll take a couple generations for them to get up. That's why it's so important that we have milkweed different places in the country so that these monarch butterflies have places to lay eggs and places for their caterpillars to eat. Because if you remember, monarch caterpillars only eat milkweed. So milkweed is so important. Sift krill through your grill to sustain your great weight. Sail south to warm waters and seek out a mate. This blue whale spends summers in the cold northern waters, but travels south to tropical waters to breed in the winter. So these whales, they migrate just like the birds. I know when we think of migrate, sometimes we just think of the birds that do it, but whales migrate too. Vacuum dead leaves like a super slow sweeper. Forget going south. Just wiggle down deeper. Here goes the worm. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. As soil freezes, this earthworm burrows down below the layer of frozen ground. They move down, down, down to a warmer place. Hide away seeds as your winter stash grows. Nap all curled up with your tail to your toes. Oh. This chipmunk snacks on her stashed food between long winter naps. Gobble up acorns and beech nuts by streams. Snooze through the winter in hazelnut dreams. This black bear's fall feast sustains his body all winter. Tuck under leaves, don't rustle, don't hop. All life signs have stopped. You're a frog, icy pop. Look at that. The frog is frozen. This frozen northern wood frog stops breathing for months, then thaws and hops away. That is so cool. I will have to learn more about this frog. That frog freezes and then unfreezes and they're fine. That's wild. Slither and bask. Stay solo, stay single. Swarm with your friends. It's warm to mingle. This garter snake snuggles with thousands of friends to share body heat. There they are, all snuggled up to stay warm. Stock up your pantries with dry seeds and scraps. Hope that your tunnel doesn't collapse. So here's the mouse with all the winter supplies. This mouse scurries through snowy tunnels to reach her food caches, and she hopes the fox doesn't drop in. Uh-oh, I see the fox. Grow a new coat that's cozy and warm. Stay toasty no matter how brutal the storm. You may notice that maybe some of your dogs are growing thicker fur too. This moose wears fur all year, but he grows special hollow hairs in the winter that trap warm air against his body. So he has a special kind of fur that he grows in the winter called hollow hairs. Forage for berries and cranberry sweets. Dive into tunnels for tasty vole treats. Oh no, watch out, voles. The red fox dives headlong into the snow to catch voles, mice, and other mammals to stay well fed all winter. Watch out, mouse. We saw that fox, didn't we? Did we see that fox a moment ago? Peeking around. Watch out, mouse. That's how the fox survives all winter. Be careful. Jump into jumbled up piles of gold. Spin, skate, and slide through the frosty white cold. We humans live where winters are cold. We humans living where winter is cold. Bundle up and have fun. There they are in all their winter gear. The end. Great listening, everyone. Let's learn a little bit more on the back. This is going to talk about the 3 survival strategies. So we got to see all kinds of different animals that use different strategies when it gets cold, like snuggling. Let's see. Animals have many amazing skills and traits that help them to survive winter. Survival strategies usually fall into 3 categories: migrate, hibernate, or tolerate. That's us winter goers. We tolerate. Migrate. When animals migrate, they travel to a different location at a certain time of year. Often animals' food supplies die off or goes underground for the winter. So many animals travel to a warm place to find food. Other animals cannot survive the frigid temperatures of winter and migrate to warm places. Still others migrate because they will mate and have young in the spring, and their newborns have a much better chance of survival in a warmer place where food is abundant. Abundant means there's lots of it. So where food is abundant, where there's lots of food. In winter, most migrating animals journey across the land or sea in the direction of the equator. This imaginary line around the middle of the earth receives direct sunlight all year long. But some animals migrate vertically or up and down. Earthworms move deeper into the soil as the ground freezes, and the bighorn sheep and mountain goats move down from their mountain peaks. The sheep and mountain goats spend their winter down lower where plants are still growing. Now type 2, hibernate. When animals hibernate, they depress their metabolism. That means their heartbeat slows, their breathing slows, and their body temperature lowers. This physical state of lowering metabolism is called torpor. An animal is said to hibernate if it spends at least several days in a row in a state of torpor. Usually, animals hibernate because food is less available and low air temperatures demand more energy for their body. An animal in torpor does not need much food, and its body slows down so much it uses very little energy. An animal in torpor does not simply let its body temperature fall with outside temperatures. Torpor is a function. Torpor is a physical, though invisible, act of slowing down all body functions. Torpor is not the same thing as being asleep, though we often say hibernating animals sleep or nap through the winter. That's not actually true. It's actually a very distinct physical state. Different hibernators behave in different ways. Some store body fat, others don't. Some rouse to eat and drink over the hibernation period, and others don't. Some hibernate for a month, others hibernate for 6 months. Wow, that's a long time. Even the way the same species behaves in different parts of the country varies a lot. Torpor is a common bond. All hibernating animals spend much of their time in torpor. Scientists don't fully understand the process of going into torpor and rousing from torpor. Their questions include, how do animals know when it's time to go into torpor? What signals them when it's time to rouse and get up? Now, type 3, tolerate. Animals that tolerate winter don't migrate or hibernate. Instead, they adapt to the season. They might change the way they look. Oh, like the hair that changes color when it snows. They might change their look or grow a warmer coat. They might change their diet based on the food that's available. They might change their feeding or hunting tactics because of the snow on the ground. They might become communal in order to share body heat, so they might join together with others. They might become communal in order to share body heat, like the snakes, even though they are solitary for the rest of the year. If they're human animals, they might put on mittens and jackets and hats before they go outside, and they might celebrate winter with sports and games they can only play when there is snow and ice. And variations, let's see. Within a single species, male and females usually use the same survival skills. Both male and female monarch butterflies migrate to warmer spots for the winter, for example. But different populations of monarchs migrate to different locations. Monarchs that live in the eastern United States mostly migrate to Mexico. Monarchs living in the western United States mostly migrate to a particular area in California. Different populations of humans behave differently too. People living in Maine, hey, like me. How many of you are living in Maine? People like us. People living in Maine might tolerate winter by wearing a warm, heavy coat, while people in Louisiana might need only a light jacket to tolerate the winter. Do you use any survival skills? What do you think? Is there something that you do at your house? What do you do once it starts to get cold? Which ones do you use? Let's see. There also are all of our amazing survivors that we read about today. I think I'll just skip to the one that seemed the most interesting. So I highly recommend you checking out this book. But let's see before we close it how that frog worked, because that was so cool. All right, if you remember, there's a frog that freezes. Here it is. Here's the freezing frog that thaws out when it warms. Let's learn a little bit more about that frog. It's called the northern wood frog. The northern wood frog takes hibernation to an extreme level by freezing into a solid block. That is so cool. Before she freezes, large amounts of natural sugars circulate through her body. These sugars act like antifreeze and keep the water inside her body cells from freezing. Okay, so it works a little bit like what we put into our cars to keep from freezing. It's antifreeze, but the water in the spaces between the cells does freeze. With more than 2/3 of the water in her body turning to ice, she looks like an ice cube. This is wild. She looks like an ice cube. She doesn't breathe or move, and her heart doesn't even beat. Oh my gosh, her heart doesn't even beat. Winter passes, and the wood frog just lies there, easy freezy. But when the temperature warms up in spring, she will thaw and hop away unharmed. That is wild. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is so cool. Well, I highly recommend checking out this book, Snooze. For some reason that second word is tricky. Snack, Snooze, Skedaddle, where you can learn a little bit more about each of the animals we read about in the story and learn some new words. I hope you all learned a little bit today about the cool things that animals do to get ready for winter. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I hope you're all finding your own way to get ready for the cold weather. Have an amazing day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.